Over the past 2 decades, the river cruise industry has been rapidly growing. As a super frequent traveler myself, you may not be surprised to learn that I've taken 2 recent river cruises. One swept me through Germany, France, and into Switzerland, and the other through magical Bordeaux. Both were with UniWorld Boutique River Cruises. I recently heard about UniWorld's first ever all-women's cruise, sailing through France starting August 24th. And this also being the month of May and Mother's Day, I thought I'd enlist UniWorld's CEO Ellen Bettridge and their Chief Marketing Officer Shernette for a deep dive into river cruising. So if you've ever thought about taking a river cruise, listen up, because in this podcast, we're sharing all you need to know to prepare for your next voyage, including travel tips and frequently asked questions. So let's roll down the river on the Travels with Darley podcast, where we take you on immersive adventures and help you learn something new. On my UniWorld Rhône River cruise, I enjoyed sailing by castles and countryside as we traveled through Germany and Alsace, France, ending our journey in Switzerland. In Bordeaux, great wines were paired with excursions to places like Saint-Emilion and a retro sidecar tour of the city of Bordeaux.
It's such a fun way to see Bordeaux.
Shernette is an expert on river cruising. She's been working with UniWorld for almost a decade and shares what you need to know about river cruising. For listeners out there who have not taken a river cruise, I've actually gotten to do a few UniWorld Boutique River Cruises, but how would you describe the experience, especially for people who are maybe familiar with ocean cruising as compared to river cruising?
Yeah, well, like ocean cruising, river cruising is a great way to sample several different cities or countries on one trip. Similar to ocean, we always say you travel all over and unpack once, which is great. Also like touring, so people maybe who've taken land tours, who've never taken a cruise before, it's the same concept, right? Where you can kind of travel all over and see multiple places. What we love about river cruising, it's a little bit smaller, more intimate groups than you would see with an ocean cruise. Ocean often takes you to a destination, where river cruises take you through a destination, right? Rivers run through the heart of cities and countries. So it's a really great way to just really be in a city and a country and engage in it in a very different way than you would if you were on land or if you were on an ocean cruise.
What I really liked about river cruising through Europe is that in many locations when we often docked right in the town or city, meaning I could just step off the ship and I was in the heart of the action. Super convenient. What are your top tips for people who are new to river cruising?
So my top tips for new river cruisers would probably be, number 1, enjoy the ship as much as the destination itself. River cruising is great. It's going to bring you to all these great destinations. And people may initially think, great, I'm going to get off. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. And I'm going to do this. And it can be very busy and very active. But at the same time, the ship itself is fantastic. And I encourage people to also just take that time to sit in the lounge or sit in the top deck with like a coffee and just enjoy the sailing, just sit there and enjoy the scenery as it passes you by. It really is beautiful. Oftentimes on ships, especially on UniWorld ships, there's always things going on. So there's yoga classes in the morning. There's different things happening. Enjoy it. Enjoy the ship itself. Have that extra dessert, indulge in the food. It's all included, so enjoy the ship.
River cruises like UniWorld's are all inclusive. And as UniWorld's CEO Ellen Bettridge shares, that can make for a more stress-free vacation experience.
To me, it feels almost like you're at your own personal country club and you don't have to sign for anything. Everything's included. So if you decide you want to have, a latte in the morning, you can have a latte in the morning. It's not an extra charge. If you want to have a glass of wine at night, you can have it. And by the way, you can have 2. So everything's included. That is very nice from your drinks. And then also your Wi-Fi is included. Your gratuities are included. Your transfers are included. So the idea being is we want to take away any worry that you have. So the moment you step on board, there should be nothing that you need to worry about.
I'm a big proponent of packing lightly on my travels, even though with film equipment in tow, it's not always possible. One good thing about a river cruise is that you get to visit multiple locations and you don't have to move hotels along the way. This means packing lightly is possible.
Don't overpack. This is a really good tip. And this is something I've had to learn myself over the years as traveling. What I absolutely love about a river cruise, and we have this on our ships, some river cruise companies have this on their ships, where there's actually complimentary washing machines on board. So it's great when you're traveling that you can, you actually don't need to pack a lot, pack fairly light. And you can quickly just throw in a load of laundry if you want to, rewear stuff throughout the week. It's especially nice if you're taking a longer cruise. Maybe it's a 15-day cruise, a 2-week cruise, where you don't want to, and you don't need to overpack.
You all have your first ever women's only cruise coming up this summer. Share with me some details about this inaugural cruise that you're running.
Yeah, it's very excited. So we have our first ever women's only cruise. It's going to take place on August 24th this summer, and it's an 8-day, 7-night cruise. It will start, it's in the south of France. Who doesn't love the south of France? So it's going to start in Arles, and it sails up the Rhône River to Lyon, and it's going to be fantastic. Our culinary team on any UniWorld cruise, including this one, they always, try to go local. So they pick local ingredients, they plan the menus to try to bring the flavors of the region to life. Interestingly enough, that was actually kind of one of the many reasons we picked this particular cruise for the women-only cruise, because of the region.
France is well known for its wines, and the women's only cruise will be traveling through Burgundy and Provence, known for its historic vineyards and fascinating cities. One difference between a river cruise and an ocean cruise is the ship size. If you're heading on a river cruise, you'll be in a more boutique setting.
The benefit of a river cruise is definitely it's more intimate than taking a larger cruise. So on average, you probably only have around 120 guests. So it's very intimate, which is great. It creates a great vibe and environment on board. Typically at the end of a cruise, the guests will have made several friends with other travelers because of just the nature of a smaller, more intimate cruise.
Women traveling together, but also solo women travelers has been a big trend lately, and it continues to evolve. How do you see this evolving and the future of women's travel evolving as time goes on? Do you have any predictions?
Yeah, you're right. I think predictions, and just based on trends that we are seeing, you're right. I think there's the two group of female travelers that we're going to see continue to rise would be the solo travelers, women traveling by themselves. We have seen that trend rising for the last several years, and we do think it's going to keep going. River cruising is a great option for solo travelers because it provides a safe environment. You want to get out and see the world, but obviously you have to be mindful of your safety. And so having a ship that, again, that there's a safety element that is there, which I think is really appealing for solo travelers. And the other one I would say is the multi-generational families. We're seeing a lot of that. 2 years ago, I was on our ship, and I saw the most amazing family on board. And it was literally a grandmother with her adult daughters and their adult daughters. So it was 3 generations of women spanning probably from early 20s all the way up to, 80s. And they had the best time. Watching them was just a delight, just to see how they were connecting as a family, spending that time together. But during the day, they kind of each had different ways of exploring the city, right? So the granddaughters and the daughters could explore the city by bike and, ride the bikes in the city, whereas maybe the grandmother picked a bus tour or a tour where she didn't have to, go on the bike, but they could all come back together at dinner time and talk about their day and connect. And so you're seeing a lot more of that with especially river cruising, of the multi-generational families that have, they like the appeal of having like different ways to explore the city, but all come together and be together on the cruise.
Yeah, on my Bordeaux cruise, actually, we had quite a few multi-generational families, including the cutest grandmother who had brought her grandsons.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, wow, I wish my grandmother had taken me on a river cruise.
Yeah.
Ellen Bettridge shares more about what destinations to look for if you're new to river cruising, and if you've already been on one or more, perhaps where you should go next. What are your most popular standout destinations?
When someone's new to river cruising, they generally come in and they go on the Rhine, the Main, the Danube. That's kind of what people think of traditional river cruising, kind of Eastern European destinations. France is very big. So whether it's, doing Bordeaux, whether it's doing Avignon to Lyon on the Gargonne, whether it's going to on the Seine, those are all really, really popular. And then what's really up and coming right now is the Nile.
Many new places to cruise are being offered by river cruising companies as the industry continues to grow. Shernette Fleet explains.
As you know, river cruising is a fast-growing segment in travel, and that is exciting. People are realizing that it's a really easy, interesting, fun, immersive way to travel and to see cities and countries around the world.
I think one of the things I liked about it was the aspect of slow travel. We all need to slow down and maybe not look at our phones all the time or not be going from one thing to the next, and just cruising along and seeing, the beautiful scenery, chateaus and castles and some greenery. It's such a mix of beautiful things for the senses, and you really get that sense of place when you're able to slow down and see it in that way.
There is something really special about being on the top deck, sailing, in Budapest at night, sailing past the Parliament building when it's all lit up is just fantastic.
So whether you grab your best friend or mom and hop onto the inaugural August 24th Women's Only Cruise in southern France.
Why we wanted to do this was, as women, we know that feeling we get when we get together with our girlfriends, or we get together with, our favorite women in our lives, even just for dinner or drinks or whatever, and you just always come away with this special energy, feeling like your bucket's full. And so we just wanted to create that in a cruise.
The sights, sounds, and flavors of new adventures abound. I hope you've enjoyed this deeper dive into the world of river cruising. If you like this episode, listen to the previous episode focused on the special upcoming Women's Only River Cruise, and keep on traveling.